I need to move, man. Idiot from the place, man. Big up to every single one of the locked in, man. Make sure you guys are like, subscribing, show some love to the goddamn channel, man. Big up to all of you that's locked in, man. We're here. We're here. Big up Mo for the redirect, of course. Of course, my brother Mo for the redirect. I appreciate your support, Mo. What the hell was going on here? Wrong one. Big up to all of you that's locked in, man. Make sure you like and subscribe and show someone to the channel. We're here for the Chelsea talk, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the Chelsea talk. Maresca, has he achieved his targets? Some people say yes, some people say no. Should he stay? Some people say yes, some people say no, man. We'll talk about it, man. We got a couple guests today. We got a couple guests. I'm sure we can introduce them straight away. Straight away, the fraud, the number one fraud of here. Ahmed.
What are you saying, bro? You doing good? Hope you're doing well.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. Enjoying life. It is what it is. How are you doing, bro? Hope you're doing well, man.
I'm good, man. I'm absolutely amazing. I mean, Champions League football. It's been a while. It's been a bloody while. I mean, it would have been 3 years if we didn't get it this season. So I'm very happy to say at least we got it done. And if we didn't get it done, we would have had massive issues, bro. Massive issues. But we're here to talk about it anyway. Maresca in, Maresca out. Before we get started, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and of course, as usual, man. Ahmed, talk to me, bro. Are you happy? Maresca in, Maresca out this season. Talk to me, man.
I mean, again, I don't know. Again, I just think for me, again, when we ask that sort of question, I'm not sure what we're expecting. Again, I think for me, from a general standpoint, I think obviously, from Maresca, he's done. Maresca's done, I think, a solid job in my personal opinion. He's done what he's needed to do at the end of the day, right? We've asked for UCL football minimum top 4. We asked the same of we lowered our standards for Pochettino, and he didn't do it. But this season he did do it, right? Maresca. So yes, he's met his minimum expectations. But again, there's also now the second part of it, right? Which is also now the thing, which is winning the Conference League now, right? He's got to win the Conference League too. You know, if he loses the Conference League, that is an embarrassment, to the club. And then it's also like, again, you know, that's something that should be already in the trophy cabinet, if you know what I mean. So he can't also lose that, if that makes sense. He's done the main job, but you now need to finish it off completely.
Yeah, no. What's the listen? He's done the main job, but it wasn't pretty. It wasn't.
I don't. Again, I think, you know, we know the reasons why it wasn't pretty. Sorry, right? Again, you know, I think the lack of a striker, the type of striker that we needed, killed us. I think, my personal opinion. I think Palmer having a poor season has also not helped us at all, as well. I think our inability to break down the low blocks in the second half of the season, particularly post Everton and win that run-up period, did not help us at all either, bro. So again, those are stuff that I look at. I'm like, can we address those to improve via improving our team in the transfer market? I'd probably say so at the end of the day. So,
I mean, listen. Obviously, we'll talk about it as well. It's a big summer for these owners, spawn directors, and the lot. We got another guest, my brother Scott. How are we, mate? Is this?
Yeah, Scott, man. Why is he here, man?
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about, man. We already lost IQ. We lost the IQ in the game.
No. I just saw the Fabrizio tweet about Jadon Sancho. That guy better stay, bro.
No, fuck him. No, leave.
Did you just say Sancho? Say he's gone, man. Listen,
we're paying back. Bro,
we're paying back the 3.4 million that we got from the Europa League from Mount, plus 0.69 million, and he's gone. He's gone back to United, bro.
Yeah, leave.
There's no chance. Yeah. I'll be honest, man. Let's not make that happen, man.
Why don't you just keep him?
What does he add to the team? What does he add to the team anymore?
No.
You know, Palmer was having to come back onto the left as the left back because Sancho was never going to come back to defend in our game against Brentford. He was doing left back duties because he was a genuine liability. Ola Aina was eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bro. In that game, bro, he had nothing to worry about in that game in the first half.
He was legit the only player. Like everyone else stood on business and went, "We're not losing this game." Outside of one player, you know.
You know what's crazy? They 3v1 Madueke at points in the first half, and they just did 1v1 for Sancho. Deep
And at
that,
least
bro.
Madueke was grafting. Like there wasn't always times it was coming off. He was working.
Yeah.
Sancho, brother, are you on? Have you done balloons before the game, bro? Like no, leave. I need better. I need better than Sancho on that left wing.
He's not
Move
better, bro.
Madueke. Yeah, move Madueke to the backup, or have George as the backup. And I need better. I need Mbuemo, Wisa. I need Lookman. I need who is the other? Rodrigo. That's what I need. Not Sancho, man. Nah.
I'll be honest, man. We don't need. Listen, what's his nickname again? Scamcho. He scammed us enough. That's it, man. Chill out.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's a bit of bias. There's certain players in the squad that I've got a little bias towards too, and there's Sancho and Felix. So you're not gonna hold that, bro. You're not gonna change my mind. No, you're not gonna change my mind. You're not gonna change my
Felix.
mind.
You know, he don't even watch Serie A because the way the reporters are violating him in Serie A, yeah, it's actually it's nasty work. It's nasty work. They're actually worse, yeah, than the reporters in the UK, bro. I'm gonna be honest, because like they're disingenuous in the UK and they can be dickheads. Over there, they just like, they just say how it is, man. And when it's like that, it always comes off worse. But that's what I was saying.
This is upsetting, man, because
you're telling me the Mount Rushmore of your targets or your talent ID is Ziyech, Felix, Sancho, and Højlund. You're cooked.
No, Højlund, I take back. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, you better take that back. By the way, I'm waiting to speak with you and cook you you on Højlund, bro.
Yeah, but listen, Jackson's like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't care about Jackson. Let's talk about Højlund, the worst striker I've ever seen in my life. The worst striker I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, listen, you last time I got gassed because when I saw the Sancho and I saw obligation, all of a sudden, why would you ever put a fee of 5 million to send them back? I've never seen that before. Why would you do that?
Because they need the risk they were gonna take. It's just a smart move. You're not paying that much of his wages. Yeah, I think we don't even pay that much of his wages, right? So it's a smart move. Like just in case he plays poorly for you, you have like a fullback. Okay, we can pay a 5 million fee. That's it. That's almost equivalent of like paying a loan fee for him. I'd probably argue as well.
Anyway, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be annoyed. The same way I was annoyed when Felix went back to Atletico Madrid a couple seasons ago. I'll be annoyed if Sancho comes now and goes back to United. I'll be annoyed if Felix gets sold in the summer or whatever. I'll be annoyed. But let's say we're here to talk about more important things, and that is Enzo Maresca. Is he in safe hands? Is he chilling? Is he rewarded himself for next season? Because listen, a lot of people on my last stream, listen, I'm not his biggest fan. I think he's made me question him many times, which is probably normal for someone that's his first big job. We could say. I mean, listen, we say first big job, man. It's still Leicester City in the Championship. It's still a role in the Championship, so it's not like it's a little thing. But are you happy? Are you happy, Scott, with him so far? You're saying he deserves to be at the end of the season, or have you still got question marks like me? Because for me, listen, I don't know. I don't like how it took us to the end of the season and the last game of the season to solidify top four. I think it's embarrassing, especially when we're going up against Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa, Newcastle. Aston Villa, Newcastle, decent sides, but I'm sorry, we should have got that a long time ago. We should have solidified top four a long time ago.
I'm not going to do that, by the way, about teams. Like Nottingham Forest spent the entire season second or third in the league, outside of like when they had they had a cataclysmic collapse the last month of football. Up until that, they've been second and third like the whole season. So I'm not going to do that for Forest. Like they bottled it hard, but like they were up there and deserved to be up there because the work that they did. I mean, they had, in my mind, at least 3 players in team of the season. That shows you how good they were if they have at least 3 players in team of the season. I think I'm happy with most things. There's still some things that concern me here and there, but I think some of them can maybe be fixed with a bit of quality injected into this squad, which needs to happen. And that's where my focus goes now with going forward. But yeah, like at the end of the day, our expectation as a fan base at the start of the season was top 4 and a trophy. And when we say trophy, like at least one trophy, because the Conference League should have been a guarantee, and then hopefully maybe a domestic, but we didn't get the domestic. If we win tomorrow, he's hit all expectations. Regardless how you feel about him as a manager, he's hit all expectations. So he deserves he deserves to stay next season on that alone for hitting expectations. Now, as I said, there are some question marks about him for certain things, but like I said, so much of that, like if we get a better striker next season, like We're probably not getting Osimhen. Bro, I hate all our striker targets. If we get Delap, right, who I think is more clinical than Jackson, probably fits certain things in this system better than Jackson does. If he's in this team next season and we're still doing bad, or there's still issues in attack, then maybe I can look at the manager. But if there's certain things like if he's just getting more chances than he was getting at Ipswich, but he's missing more, I can't blame the manager for that. Because maybe we just didn't buy quality. For example, we talked about Sancho. If we get rid of Sancho and we go and get Gittins, I can't look at the manager, man. That's a downgrade for me. But if we go and get a Rodrigo or something or a Lookman and they're performing to the same level Sancho did this season, now I've got to look at the manager. Now things are spooky for Maresca because those are guys who I think are levels clear as Sancho right now. Levels clear. So if they're performing to the same level, that tells me that's not a player issue. That's a system. So now it's the recruitment. It all comes back to the sporting directors and the owners now. The spotlight is on them. There are no excuses. There's nowhere to hide. We've got the money, both from sponsorships and from being in the Champions League. We've obviously got the Club World Cup. You can't say we've got the wage increase, so you can't use the stupid wage budget bullshit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You can't use the argument, we didn't get Champions League, so we can't go for the main target because that's too expensive, or they don't want to join us because they want Champions League. No, there's no excuses. None.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you're not being disingenuous with this. He's hit all the targets. I think Conference League is an embarrassment. It's a joke. That doesn't count as a trophy to me. I'm sorry, that just doesn't count.
It's a trophy.
But you winning that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't show me anything. That doesn't show me anything.
No. It doesn't need to show you. It doesn't need to show you anything. It just you have to do it.
Yes, win it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't show me anything.
Listen, no. But like him winning Conference League, that's okay. That's great. But then him getting us into top 4, that was the aim this season, right? Our aim this season was to get top 4. We got top 4. Like I don't know. Like we can complain about how we got there, what went wrong, how can we improve that? But at the end of the day, from a managerial perspective, from where he's come from as a Championship manager, I mean, you can't really have any complaints. And I think, you also have to give him a bit of credit that, particularly in the second half of the season, we have improved defensively quite well. That's all compared to the first half of the season. Yes, we may have been a lot worse going forward, and we can discuss the number of reasons why that's been. But alternatively, he's done a great job of solidifying our centre backs. He's made Chalobah look like a world beater again. He's made Tosin look like a usable centre back again. Cole looks like the guy that we were expecting him to be for the last 2 seasons, essentially towards the way that he's been playing. So
Cole went across the season. Cole went from being a decent centre back to start the season, like was in good form, to being genuinely like the biggest lost cause you could look at in the team. Like I don't think there was a bigger lost cause. Like you had this is a guy who I defended before, like I've defended in past seasons in terms of I thought he could be a squad player and contribute. This season I wanted him to get a chance. This was a player that I believed in. He lost me. Like I was off the train. I was like, get rid. He's like, there's issues there, mentality, there's issues in physicality, there's issues defending 1v1. There's too many issues.
Yep.
Like he was a complete lost cause. Like we're talking arguably Mudryk level or worse after the last couple of years.
Exactly.
And he got him back to being our best centre back in a team that conceded the third least amount of goals in a season.
Yep.
Like you got to praise him for that. Like I said, there's still issues, but he managed to shore up a defense that seemed unsavable, completely unsavable.
Yep.
I mean,
for me, my thing is I asked the same question I always ask this. Okay, let's sack him. All right, who do you realistically? It's not what you want, but who are our sporting directors gonna bring in for that next step? Like we know that the club, like Thomas Frank, we know the type of goal guys they're gonna go for. They're not gonna go for, let's say, hypothetically, if who's available right now and not in Brazil, Carlo Ancelotti. They're never gonna go for, if you like Allegri, or like even Antonio Conte, who's not available.
Inzaghi.
Right? Inzaghi, bro, he's about to go to Saudi Arabia and get 100 million. I don't know if you know that right now. That's what they've after his Inter, by the way. So he's about to get 100 M's. We are not offering any manager 100 M's, bro. So the problem that you've got right now is that any manager that you probably want to get isn't even available for you right now. And again, I think with Maresca, I think he's done a decent enough job. I'm looking at him now from an attacking perspective, yeah, and saying I need that to be improved because you did well in the first half of the season, but in the second half, there's been clearly like something that's not gone right there at all, right? We can blame a striker for all we want, etc., etc. But the other stuff has not been clicking either. You know, whether it be Neto, you know, or as I like to call him sometimes, zero IQ Neto. You know what I mean? Whether it be Madueke that's dribbling, and then you know we need to flip a dice to see what's gonna happen there. You know, Sancho we've spoken about. Palmer's like consistent run of poor form, right? Being upon himself, and then also the way we play. So again, that's stuff that again I've said before. You can look at that stuff and say, with the right players being brought in, and then the manager himself tweaking stuff, and then the players themselves improving, I think you can change that quite considerably well. So I don't really see a lot. I see a lot of our issues as solvable issues at the end of the day. So
I mean, first of all, the Inzaghi thing, you never know, bro. That's like 100% confirmed. That's not 100% confirmed. And if Inzaghi actually becomes available and he ends up leaving Inter Milan, I hope we go in and get him. I don't want to hear anyone else saying, why wouldn't he join? For
him to join, we'd have to pay him. We'd have to make him one of the highest paid managers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Inzaghi's getting paid peanuts.
Yes, let me rephrase. Let me say it again. For him to join us, we'd have to make him one of the highest paid managers in the world. There is nothing else currently about this team and about the way things are being run. Or you'd have to give him things they've given no other manager thus far. They weren't willing to give it to Enrique. They weren't willing to give it to Nagelsmann. They're not going to give it to Inzaghi either. So then if you're not giving him control over certain things like transfers, or at least some sort of say, he won't join unless you pay him the money he wants. And I'm not talking Saudi money, obviously.
We've already got a good squad.
No, there's Ziad. Why would he leave a team that was champions like 2 years in a row? Like champions 2 years in a row, obviously not this season, are on the cusp of winning a Champions League for the first time in 15 years, sorry. Why would he leave that for Chelsea outside of for money?
Well, the money is obviously one, but I'm saying it from a perspective of he might be leaving. It's not a case of leaving Inter for Chelsea. He's leaving Inter regardless. He may be leaving them regardless.
He's leaving Inter. The only report is he's leaving Inter for Saudi money.
Yes.
Yeah, but okay, come for Chelsea money.
What is Chelsea, bro?
He's trolling. He's trolling.
I'm not trolling. Why am I trolling? The guy's on 5 million a year. You think he won't come if we give him 9?
Listen, let's say we give him the same amount of money we were giving Par. I think we gave Par like, was it 12 million a year?
Yeah, we're giving Par 12 million.
Wait. Let's say we say, you know what, mate, we'll give you 12 million a year. But then, guess what happens? Someone else is offering him 100 M's a year. And that's an 88 million pound increase from our own thing. We are not gonna match that. So why are we doing this? Again, for me, at the end of the day, this argument about a new manager doesn't make sense. He's met his expectations. Let's wait and see. Again, it's 2 seasons. I think he's done part A. Let's see what he does with part B. Part B is competing now. That's the next step.
1 second. No. 1 second. But if there's a better man out there, then you go and get him.
No, it's not. But listen, again, is the process that you want him to do done? I actually would ask you that. Let me ask you that question. Him. What is the process? Yes, like let's say
Maresca hasn't shown me anything to be like, yo, you 100% should stay.
No. Listen, you're not getting you're not answering my question there. I asked you what if I say to you, Maresca is meant to be doing the job that Poch was meant to be doing for us, right? Which was he may not finish the story for you, right? But you know what he will do? He will take you to the end point, right? And then someone else can take over and finish that job for you. I think that's probably what you want Maresca to do, right?
Helps him. That's what's that?
Bro, that's not. But bro, any manager.
I want that.
But that's ideally, I think, what he's meant to be doing, right? So I don't understand.
No. So 1 second. So what you're sitting there telling me is that if Inzaghi becomes available, I'm not even saying. Listen,
Inzaghi,
Hold
no.
on.
I need to actually. There's another thing we need to talk about when we even get to Inzaghi. Inzaghi plays a completely different system, big man. So what are we doing? He plays a completely different system.
I'll tell you what we're doing. If we're gonna sit here and talk about whether Inzaghi should join, whether directors are gonna get Inzaghi, that's not the point. My only point is the way I would want Chelsea to do things is if Inzaghi becomes available, you go and get the better manager. One, because he's the better manager. Two, because the current manager at Chelsea, Hussam loves to spam the chat on why I aren't a new manager, because the current manager hasn't shown me enough in a full season for me to say he has solidified his spot at the club. He hasn't. And I'm seeing that we're saying now we're in the Champions League. We're going to go for proper serious players. It's in the title. Time for the owners to get serious players. Okay?
So why do you not give it? Listen, he's not had serious players this year.
We have serious. No, we're getting Ahmed. This is. Listen, we probably repeat this every summer, but this is Chelsea's biggest summer in a long time, and I'm sure we say that every year. But it's fine. We're going to say it again. We need the actual Oshman. I think we're signing Oshman. Scott said earlier we're not getting Oshman. I think we're getting Oshman.
Brother, we are not getting him.
Please
move on from
relax. I think we're getting Oshman. If we get Oshman
cool,
and a serious left winger, okay, and a serious left winger. Look at the
squad in Europe is giving
the quality of players we have in the squad. I'm sorry, I don't know if Maresca, I'm not having this quality of squad, and then you're saying, yeah, Maresca, get top 4 and then do one. What do you mean? We get the proper manager who's going to win us the league.
Again, see, this is again, you are asking for a manager that plays a completely style of play. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would we? Yeah, it doesn't even make sense why we're bringing Inzaghi. Again, we're doing the same issue that we had under Abramovich, but the difference was under Abramovich, he had like a world-class spine that could adapt to anything that was happening whenever he brought a new manager every single time.
It's worse than it was under Abramovich. Forget the spine. You're asking a new manager to come in when we have a Club World Cup to perform in, and we have about a month and a half's worth of pre-season. When the fuck are you expecting these players to learn his system in time for the new season?
Scott,
yes.
you got to do it. You got to do it.
No, but you haven't got to do it. Cool. So I don't want to hear anything. No, cool. I don't want to hear any complaints if this happens and we start the season like shit. Because he hasn't had time to integrate a new style of play. And not even just a new style of play, a completely new formation as well. And a completely new way of playing that formation.
You know what it is? Guess what? We might have teething problems at the start. Lack of preseason, lack of this. But in the long run, we know we've got a 10 times better manager than we usually have. And we know, and I've got better confidence in him that we're going to win a Premier League or Champions League with him than I will ever do with Maresca. How about that?
How do you know we're not going to win one with Maresca?
I'm not saying it's impossible to, but I'm saying if we were to have Inzaghi, I would have more confidence in winning the Premier League or Champions League with him than we would do with Maresca. That is a serious manager. The problem I've got now
is sense to sack Maresca now. It makes unless you're going to sack him literally the moment the game finishes tomorrow. Yes, he has.
No, he hasn't been that good.
What was his targets at the start of the season?
No, my target for him was comfortably get top 4, win an FA Cup or Carabao Cup and the Conference League. He didn't do any of those. Any of them.
We didn't comfortably get Champions League, no?
No, we didn't. Last game of the season is getting it comfortably. Are you having a laugh?
We're 4th. Top 5 gets you Champions League. We finished 4th, did we not?
We almost relied on United to help us.
No, we didn't almost rely. We won. We could have lost that game, by the way.
On the last game of the season.
We could have drawn that game against Forest and still got in the Champions League. But we won.
On the last game of the season.
Cool. I'd have liked it to have been sooner. We still got in the Champions League.
Exactly. It should have been sooner. It should have been sooner. It shouldn't have taken to the last game of the season.
You're fighting battles. Again, I feel like, you're fighting demons that you should not be fighting, bro. Again, I'm pretty
boxing with himself. He's shadow boxing, bro.
He's shadow boxing himself. Again, for me, you've spoken about, listen, you're saying some of these players aren't good enough. So then him doing the job to get top 4 for us should be credit in the bank to him. So I don't understand this logic. I'll be honest. Again, Maresca is a championship manager that has been able to get us top 4 with zero experience in the Premier League. Right?
Experience, like, man.
Right. You can say experience hype, but brother, experience hype was kind of needed in our team. We would have probably gotten comfortably top 4 if we had some level of experience in the team. No? Some level of
We
leadership
went
in
2
the
wins
team.
in 10, man. We went 2 wins in 10. I don't bring that down to the bloody lack of experience. Let me ask you this
You
question.
have to bring it. No.
What the
I'm
hell
gonna
happened?
find Alexis's tweet. That 2 in 10 thing is jokes, but I'm gonna find Alexis's tweet because he actually did a tweet about this. Like,
Bro, if you look at even the 2 in 10, what we're gonna call it, yeah, there were some games which came down to us losing our heads, us being not game managers some of these games, bro. So I feel like
Let me ask you this question. What the hell happened to the Chelsea at the start of the season?
The Chelsea at the start of the season was not being respected. Teams were attacking us, bro. They did not respect us. That was why we played so well, because you were able to play our game with ease because no one respected Chelsea, bro. You saw what happened last season, bro. You were having 3-2 thrillers in nearly every single game.
So no, but I'm talking about the idea of Palmer linking up with Madueke, Enzo playing next to Cucurella, Enzo linking up with Sancho. We're seeing a style of play. I'm not sitting there and telling me the whole style of play and the whole way of football went out the window because man started sitting back.
By the way, I've got a couple of things to bring you, Ziad, on this like 2 wins in 10 thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So game week 1 to 17, 10 wins in 17, second in form table.
We were
from game week 8. Cool. Game week 18 to 26, so 9 games, 2 wins in 9, 16th in form table. From game week 27 to 38, so across 12 games, 8 wins in 12, second in form table. So what you're saying is that we're not good enough, or it wasn't good enough, based on 9 games of football.
So this is the problem with stats. This is
No,
I have eyes, Scott. I have eyes. We were shit
in 9 games.
Fact.
In 9 games.
No. Across the listen. The season is 100%. Yeah, the season is over, so 100%.
Yeah, so 9 across the 38 season. 9 games we were shit for.
But over no, because that's stats. I have eyes. Over that 100% of the season, completion of the season, we were shit for 80% of it.
No, we weren't. Nah, sharp, man.
Scott, come on, man.
Nah, sharp.
Bro, we were dead.
No, we weren't, man. Sharp.
I don't think we were that good, man. And all I'm saying is, I'm not going to sit and scream at Maresca out. All I'm saying is, if the better manager becomes available, I want my club to go for him.
You keep on saying the better manager becomes available to you. I'm sorry to tell you, bro, there is no better manager available right now.
Inzaghi becomes available, go get him.
You're saying he becomes available. He's not available right now, bro.
I'm saying if Inzaghi becomes available, will you want him to come in?
No, because
that's the problem we're having right now.
Bro, we have to do another rebuild. Because 90% of the players don't
want him. The reason I would love Inzaghi, right? This is not a criticism of Inzaghi. It goes back to what we said earlier. Getting him in now, unless you're sacking Maresca the moment the Conference League final finishes, like we win it and you hand him his P45 there and then on the pitch, Hansi Flick style. Unless you're doing that, it makes no sense to bring Inzaghi in now. He doesn't have the time that he's going to need on the football pitch with the Club World Cup as well. Unless you're not taking the Club World Cup seriously. Unless you're literally pissing money away because you don't want to take that seriously and you're going to use that as a pre-season friendly. You don't have time for him to implement his system. You also, by the way, go and look how his system performs. Do we have centre-backs that can play his system? No.
Colwell.
One centre-back. Cool. Who's playing right centre-back?
We're going to sign one.
Cool. Who's playing central centre-back in his system?
We'll sign one.
That's 2 new centre-backs you need.
1 second.
No.
You play Rich James.
No, wait.
Rich James,
so who's wing-back?
Gusto.
What?
Or we sign one.
That one's Gusto in an Inzaghi system, you know? Cool. Anyway, so we're signing 2 new centre-backs, yeah? Starting centre-backs. Cool. Who's playing up front? Because he plays in a 2 up front system. Who's playing?
Well, we bloody need 2 strikers anyway, so you might as well run
that. Cool, so that's 2 new strikers. So we've already bought 4 new starters for two key positions. Fantastic. Left wing back Cucurella, that's fine. It's not really a good like-for-like replacement. Whatever, we move. Midfield. Cool. So midfield sorted is Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo. So who's playing goalkeeper? We got Petrovic coming back. Are you happy with Petrovic coming back? Or we need a new goalkeeper as well?
Either way, listen, Scott, whether we have Maresca
No, answer the
or we
question.
have Inzaghi, we need a goalkeeper.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Whatever,
We're
Petrovic,
getting
I'm
a new
not bothered.
goalkeeper. Cool. So you're telling me we need 4 new starters immediately coming in, maybe depending on how he wants to play with the wing backs, 5. In fact, probably 5 new starters immediately. They have to all bed in, have to all be ready to start come the start of the season. Otherwise, we're going in not ready.
But no,
And
but
we've got Champions League to deal with. And we've got Champions League to deal with. So the time he gets on the training pitch is halved. It's not like Conte's
but
first
guess what
season.
happens guess what happens if we get those players and he gets it right? Guess what happens?
Yeah, cool. We probably finish like second or something.
No,
but the likelihood is you got to play the margins. The likelihood is it doesn't go right because guess what?
But even with Maresca, how many starters do we need?
Hang on. You know what the perfect example is? Conte. When did we start seeing his system when we won the league? It was after we lost to Arsenal. When was that game?
Let me find out for you.
Is that October, November?
It wasn't that late.
It wasn't game week 7. Probably game week 7.
It wasn't that late. I know that for sure.
I think it was longer than that.
Yeah, that was like it
wasn't that
9.
late. I promise you, it wasn't that late.
Probably 9. I think it's game week 9. You know, I think it was game week 9 when we played Arsenal.
When we got slapped 3-0, 24th of September. Do me a favor. That's basically the start of the season.
That was game week 7. Then that's game week 7.
Start of the season.
Cool. And then he went on from there to then implement his system.
Yeah.
That was 1 game a week. So let's say it's going to take him longer. So we're getting a third of the way through the season before we start seeing his system.
Okay, but
so when he finishes 4th or 5th, or we don't get Champions League because we haven't figured out his system, which is a lot more complicated than Conte's, by the way, a lot more complicated with less experienced players.
Okay, but my point
when we don't get top 4.
But this you got to take sometimes. First of all, I got a couple things. First of all, you got to take the risk because, like I said, the risk is if you do this, the rule is possibly challenging for the title and doing very well in the Champions League. That's one. The second one is even if we keep Maresca, how many new starters do we need right now that need to come in and walk in?
3.
So what are we saying? Striker, centre back, left wing.
Yes.
That need to walk in.
Goalkeeper.
So hang on. You're talking 3 for a system where the rest of the team knows how to play it, versus 4 or 5 for a system that no one understands.
But I'm fine with taking that risk if it means we're getting the better manager.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad you're. I'm not fine with taking that risk.
Up the process.
But then do you know what? But you're making the process longer, bro.
No.
Yeah, you're making the process longer.
You're actually increasing the time. Yes, you are, bro.
You think it is. You think it is, but what are the chances of us winning the Premier League or Champions League with Maresca?
I don't know. If he gets his players, hold on. If he gets his players, likely we were second with Maresca. Were we not?
For about 2 weeks, yeah.
It was longer than 2 weeks, but we were second. Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
We know that his style of play can work.
By the way, hang on. Let me have a little look at something because this fucking laptop has pissed me off. I had a look at this. If we beat Ipswich twice, that's it. 4 more points. We got 4 more points.
Up, man. 130 people in here. Let's get the likes up. Smash the likes, people, man.
If we get 4 more points against Ipswich, that's it. 2 games with 1 point behind Arsenal. If we beat, who else did we drop points against? Brentford. Did we drop points against Forest?
If we had kept the clean sheet, Crystal Palace away. If we had kept the clean sheet there, if you remember, because we were 1-0 up.
By the way, this all happens with better players in the squad. If you beat Palace, if you beat the 2 Ipswich teams, that's 6 points right there. If you beat, did we draw to Brentford as well? Oh no, we lost to Fulham. That's 3 points. That's 9 points right there. That puts us 6 points behind Liverpool. That's a title challenge, which we beat all of those teams with better quality.
But Scott, what I'm trying to tell you is, okay, let's give it what I'm trying to say is, you bringing in, I'm sure we're gonna get into the transfers in a bit, but my transfer targets are Osimhen and a serious left winger, which is Rodrigo, Leao, whatever. Okay, but you bring that squad, and we've got a squad of Osimhen, let's just say Rodrigo, Leao, Caicedo, Enzo. It's a very good squad, and Andrea Santos coming in, Esteval. It's a it's a disgusting squad. You know, I don't think people will be talking about 1 billion down the drain anymore. I don't think that. And I would rather give that squad to an Inzaghi who can, I'm not going to say guarantee, but I would say 8 times out of 10 likelihood he's going to go and end up winning the Premier League or Champions League. Whereas even if it takes him, you know, another year or two, whereas giving it to Enzo Maresca, giving those quality players to Enzo Maresca, and God knows if he's going to end up winning the Premier League or Champions League in his lifetime. Do you see what I'm saying? And guess what, Scott? Managers like Inzaghi don't just come around. They don't, especially now in the market when you got McKenna and you got I don't know who. Okay, Inzaghi don't come around. If Inzaghi, because what Inzaghi is doing at Inter Milan is actually probably being downplayed a little bit. What the guy's doing is ridiculous. To go that far in the Champions League, right, and also challenge for the title on the lot and lose it by 1 point is very good. And he's done that multiple times. Okay, and I've spoken to my brother Judge Mo. Everyone knows who Judge Mo is. Like, subscribe to him. And he even told me I would recommend you him. And I trust his ball knowledge because that is a serious manager. And I don't want to lose out on that. I don't want to lose out on that just to keep Enzo Maresca, who for me, you can give me all your stats. You can give me the points here, drop points here. For me, it hasn't been that level of a season where I'm willing to lose out on a manager like Inzaghi with the squad that we're going to have and that we could possibly have. Does that make sense?
No. It makes sense. And like I said, I think Inzaghi is better, and I'm not downplaying him. And I agree with you in a sense of like, if a manager of that level comes up, you do need to get him. But my thing is if if we're not playing Club World Cup, I completely agree with everything you said. That's literally the difference in where we're at here. Of like, if we actually had a preseason and if these owners were going to be serious, because that's the other thing. Even if we get Inzaghi, can Inzaghi work with some of these guys when he doesn't get the targets he wants? Like when we go and get an Ekatike and a Delap, is he delivering the same when he's not dealing with a Lautaro Martinez and he's not dealing with a Thuram? Actually, he's more even Martinez rather than Thuram, but Thuram was good in the Champions League. Is he performing to the same level? We don't know. We haven't seen it yet. Maybe.
Scott, but first of all, big up to my brother Don for the redirect. I just saw that coming through. Big up to you, brother. Listen, man.
Yeah, like we don't know if he can. Like, I think he can, but we haven't seen it. Is my point.
What's up? Pause. Because that is waffle. Listen, everyone. Listen. Over 300 people in here. Can we make sure we're liking and subscribing? People? No, I'll tell you that 1 second. 1 second. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you. Okay. Like and subscribe, people. Listen. We're here. We're cooking Maresca because he needs to be. I'm joking. Relax. Everyone relax. Just make sure we're liking and subscribing. Appreciate Don for a redirect. Show someone to the channel. Ahmed's link is in the description as well. Make sure to subscribe to him as well. Listen. Inter Milan squad and Chelsea squad. You can't even compare it, bro. You get Mkhitaryan. Who is that, bro? That guy died 5 years ago.
Oh, shut up.
Lautaro Martinez.
Shut up.
Lautaro Martinez. I guarantee you, whatever striker we sign in the summer will be better than Lautaro Martinez.
We're losing it, man. We're losing.
Yeah, you're losing this. You're losing.
Lautaro Martinez. He's dead.
You've lost. No, you've lost. You've lost.
Oh my god. Lautaro Martinez.
No, you've lost. You lost. You lost as soon as you started talking about that. You lost. You're telling me, hang on. We're talking about one of the best midfielders in the world in Barella.
Who's got a better squad, Scott?
They do.
No, lock off the stream, man.
Scott, hang on. Let's go through it. What area of let's go through each area of the pitch. Who's got a better goalkeeper? Sharp. We're doing this fairly. Who's got a better goalkeeper? Who's got the better defense as a whole? I dare you say Chelsea. I dare you say Chelsea.
Okay, they got a better defense.
Cool, they got the best. They got better attack. Are you high?
1 second. Well, I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that. I'm gonna tell you because if who we're gonna sign in the summer, we're gonna end up having a better attack than what you call it, Inter Milan.
The only way that happens if Osimhen comes in, he's not coming.
And Osimhen's coming in. How about that?
No, he's not. Ekatike's not better than Martinez. Delap's not better than Martinez. Sesko's not better than Martinez.
Osimhen's better than Martinez. Gyökeres is better than Martinez.
Yeah, he is. We're not signing Osimhen, bro.
Why are we not signing Osimhen? I don't understand.
Because we're not paying his wages.
We're losing. Listen, we're losing.
And he's Saudi.
I'm sorry, guys. I want Inzaghi.
You know, listen. I just listen. This Inzaghi argument is not going to happen, so I don't know why we're just discussing him. I'm just
6
gonna move
trophies in
on.
5 years, man.
I'm going to just try to move on from Inzaghi. You know, I'm like
This is nuts,
actually,
bro. This is
yeah. So
How
we're
do you
not
have an
moving
Inzaghi
on.
debate,
No,
bro?
because I mean to Ahmed, this is where you're waffling, because the problem I've got right now is not whether we're gonna get Inzaghi or whether we're not gonna get Inzaghi. My point is that you're gonna sit here and watch Inzaghi become available and still be like, yeah, no worries, we've got Maresca.
The only reason, no,
At
Ziad, we
least
go back to
say,
the same point.
go get him.
The only reason he's available is because Saudi are willing to slap unquestionable, like unimaginable money on the table. That's the only reason he's
willing to
available.
still stay into again. He's willing to stay into, bro. He's just getting given 100 M's. If I'm getting like generational wealth, I can't say no to that, bro. That's the only difference. But you know, this Osimhen talk here from you, it just needs to end, bro. It's not happening. Just give it up, bro. No club in Europe.
Hold on. I don't know how reliable this source is. I typed in Simone Inzaghi into Twitter. And this is the first, again, I don't know how reliable this is. Take this with a pinch of salt. This is from an Inter Milan account. I've translated it. In Al Hilal offered to be highest paid coach in the world. Yesterday, Inzaghi said, I will renew if the conditions are right. Yesterday, Marotta, who's their not owner, CEO, whatever the fuck he is, said Simone's requests are reasonable. So he's either staying in Inter or going to Saudi. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Bro, don't try to play smart, because that's not the conversation we're having. That's not the conversation we're having.
This is the conversation we're having.
The conversation we're having is Enzo Maresca this season, and whether if Inzaghi becomes available, you guys will still saying no. How are you still saying no?
The reason that this all started, by the way, this whole conversation of me and Ahmed saying he's not available. That's where this conversation started. He's not available because.
Okay, so what if we offer more than Inter are offering? Which is by the way, it's not a lot, because Judge Mo, big up Judge Mo again, like and subscribe to Judge Mo, told me they ain't got money, bro. They don't have money to give him.
He's currently on 5 million euros a year,
which is nothing.
I don't know what Maresca's on. Maresca's on less than 10.4 or significantly less than 10.4 million pounds, because that's what Poch was on. And I saw a thing that said he's on significantly less.
And so money is not a problem.
The problem with Ziad, the information we are missing here is A, what Maresca's on, B, what Inzaghi would be offered.
And you know what?
Because if they're willing to offer him, let's say they're willing to double his wages.
Yeah.
Let's say that's 10 mil euros a year. That means we'd have to be willing to pay him that. They have shown outside of Poch. Well, actually, no. They have shown consistently when it comes to managers. Poch was on 10.4 million, which was less than what Potter was on. And Maresca is less than what Poch was on.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But my point is, if you give Inzaghi that Poch money.
Okay, wait. Okay. Let's say we're giving that Poch money or everything like that, yeah? Is he willing to accept the terms and conditions the club is going to give him?
Mm-hmm.
Which is?
We will give you the players
than you're currently working at.
No, it's not. It's not a better squad. It's not the best squad. It's not a better squad. It's not a better squad.
Okay, 1 second. Stop. 1 second. Stop. 1 second. You're telling me if we sign Osimhen and a serious left winger?
Bro, you keep saying Osimhen. It's not happening.
Okay. You know what? It's not happening.
Talking about.
You know what? Let's do it this way.
Time out. Wait. Time out, bro. Please. Okay. We need to talk about the current squad. We have got no transfers coming in yet. We don't know what's going to happen.
Bullshit, by the way. This comment's absolute nonsense. This comment, by the way, absolute nonsense.
Okay, Scott, 1 second.
Wait. Time out. Let me finish, bro. I haven't finished.
Absolute nonsense.
All right. We don't know if he's going to accept the transfer terms and conditions of the club, which is that you will tell us that you will identify the type of profile you want, and then we will choose who we go after. That is the way the club works right now, bro. They choose the players that come into the club, not the manager. So I don't know why we're acting like, managers are going to accept that in this day and age. Some of the top managers don't like to do that, bro. There's a few of them that do that.
Okay, 1 second. Because we're going to talk this. Because we're having a lot of different conversations, and Scott's waffling. You lot. 1 second. 1 second. What? This is okay. Best case scenario, Scott, in your idea, in your world, what striker do we sign?
Osimhen.
So I just said Osimhen. You're saying it's not going
to No. You said best case scenario is we sign Osimhen. We're not signing Osimhen because of the wages.
Okay, I'm saying best case scenario. Who do you think we will sign? The best player.
Are we saying of who we've been linked with? Yeah.
Yeah, let's leave it a little bit realistic.
Delap.
Okay, Delap. And left winger?
Gittins.
Why have you gone down to Gittins?
Because we're not paying Nico Williams' wages, and Garnacho sucks. Those are the only three wingers we've been linked with.
Listen, okay. By the way,
Rodrigo, we're not getting. Rodrigo, I would love. We're not getting Rodrigo.
Okay,
Xabi Alonso has already spoken highly of him. He will not leave, at least not in the summer. January, we don't know. Next summer, we don't know. He's not leaving this summer unless he asked to leave, and he's not going to ask to leave.
Okay.
We've been linked with Williams, who I like and is better than Gittins, but his wages are stupid for where he's at in his career at the moment. And Gittins and Garnacho. Gittins is at least a decent footballer. Garnacho, I would do unspeakable things if we got Garnacho in a bad way. So Gittins. We haven't been linked with anyone else. I would love to get Lookman. We're not getting Lookman. I would love to get Leao. I don't think we're getting Leao again because I think of either the price is going to cost or the wages. We didn't want to spend that money on Elise.
Okay.
We're not spending it on these guys.
This is the problem we're having here. If we didn't make Champions League football, I would agree with you. But the problem we have right now, is that we've made Champions League football, and we are also going to be going for better players than we were without Champions League football. There's no way.
Who are we currently going for? Ziad, who are we currently going for?
I think we're signing Osimhen.
Cool. No. Not who you think. Who are we based on what we've seen in reports, which is all we have to go off as football fans, by the way. Who have we been linked with, and who are we waiting for? No. Answer the question. We're not doing politician stuff today. Who are we going for? Who have we been concretely linked with?
So far, it's Ekitike and Delap.
And Sesko.
Okay.
None of which have scored more than 15 league goals this season. None of which are a huge improvement on what we have. Right, they're a bit of an improvement, but not huge. None of whom are in any way, shape, or form proven or give you a certainty, which most strikers don't. No striker does. None of them are on the level of what Inzaghi in this made-up fantasy had this season, just gone. From either striker, by the way.
So I think
Thuram is better than all three of those, and he's their second choice striker.
Thuram is
Martinez is levels clear of them.
Thuram is better than Martinez. Let me say something.
No, he's not.
Okay, but what in my eyes, okay, if we go get Osimhen and a good left winger, would we have a better squad than Inter Milan?
No. Overall, no.
A better squad.
Yes, overall squad, no. We've got a worse goalkeeper. There isn't a single defender that we've got that gets into that Inter Milan squad outside of Cucurella at left centre back, and that's our left back. In terms of centre backs, we don't have a single one.
Reece James not start for them.
The issue with the Reece James thing, he does start and he's better than what they have. The issue with the Reece James thing is positionally, where do you play him? Because he would play that right wing position or right wing back position theoretically, but he will cook his hamstrings. He will cook every single muscle he has in his hamstrings. But yeah, he's better. In terms of midfield, I think Barella's better than Enzo, personally.
Caicedo starts.
Caicedo definitely starts. Caicedo's better than everyone else. It's Barella, Caicedo, and then probably Palmer is the midfield if you were doing a combined 11.
Right.
But I'd say our midfield is slightly better than theirs. Their attack is levels clear.
Even if
we sign Osimhen, because you say Osimhen and Martinez, for me, are kind of on par. Osimhen probably slightly better.
Osimhen and Martinez. No, Scott, come on, man. Osimhen and
What do you
Martinez
mean?
are on par.
Yes, have you seen what Martinez is doing in that league? You're talking about a guy who got Ballon d'Or.
Martinez has better numbers than him in that league.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I don't know.
Okay.
One second.
So this is why I say squad, because if we're just doing in certain positions, if you're talking squad, as a whole is better than ours, even with a winger and a striker, because we are still missing other players in other positions. Like if you're telling me we went and got like 2 new centre backs, we got two new strikers and a new winger, then and obviously we get Petrovic back in, then that's a conversation to be had. And Petrovic turns out to be the level where we think he can get to. That's a different conversation to be had. You're talking to me right now. If we get Osimhen and winger and no else, no, their squad as a totality is not better than is still better than us.
Okay, Petrovic comes in. We sign a right centre back, left wing
and a central centre back.
Why
we need 2 centre backs. We need 2 centre backs. I don't trust any of our centre backs.
Yeah.
Either for as good as they've been.
Listen. Yeah, I just don't listen. Again, this into Inzaghi point. It's just there's no logic to it. I don't know why we've talked about it.
We've been talking about it for nearly an hour, by the way.
Yes.
But the thing again with all of this, the bigger point with all of this is we're talking best case scenario if we sign these top players, none of which we've been linked with. These top players.
Come on, man! It's still early to be linked with them, bro.
I need to know something, Ziad.
Too early. Hold on. It's too early. Whoa. It's not too early. Liverpool have just spent 30 million on a new right back and are about to smash their transfer record for the best number 10 in Germany. Manchester City are currently looking at 2 number 10s and a number 8 to fix their midfield, all of which are their number 1 targets, all of which I think they sign outside of maybe Cherky. Gibbs White and Reinders, I think they go. You've got Man United have just made a signing and looking at Mbeumo as well. It's not too early.
Apparently it's just been rejected, but listen, it is what it is. But I just wanted to say, I don't know if you know this, bro. In less than 3 weeks, we are going to be playing our first game in the Club World Cup, bro. Okay, we are more likely to complete signings at the end of this week, bro. Yeah, than most people, than a lot of people actually realize.
We can start registering players at the end of this week.
Yes. And we're more likely to sign players at the end of this week. The way the club is, the way the club is moving. And
by the way, yes. I don't know if you're aware, there is a chance we may be without 5 players going into that first game.
Yes, because of international
yep.
as well.
So we need signings. Yeah. So they're going to be done early. So the players they're looking at now, I think that's who we're looking at.
Yes,
and I think that's who we signed.
Okay, I mean, listen.
This is a good comment as well, though.
That's not true. Barring Liverpool, no other team had their future decided. No other team
outside of Liverpool and Arsenal, no other team had their future decided outside of Liverpool and Arsenal.
Well, I mean, the season's been done for a week.
It wasn't, yeah.
United's different, but at the same time, you're not the point with what I said about that is these teams are still making signings early. They're going to people go, it's too early to be linked with this player. No, it's not, because if you're a serious club. And with what Ahmed said, the fact that by the end of this week, we can start making signings and officially registering them. To me, you need to be serious. And like I said, we are going to, based on what I've read, based on Tuchel's comments, we will be without Palmer, Colwill, Chalobah, Madueke, and who's the last one? Reece James. We're going to be without those 5 players for our first game of the Club World Cup. Guaranteed. Maybe second as well, but definitely first.
Yeah, and
that's our number 10. Hang on. That's our number 10 when we have no backup. I don't want to hear about the 2 clowns. That's our starting left winger currently. And the other one we're sending back to Man United to continue to do balloons. That's our arguably starting right back. That's one of our starting centre backs, maybe starting 2 centre backs, depending on how you view the defence.
Yeah, so you lose a lot of guys. I don't know if Brazil's thing happens within the same period of time, but they might have to miss it. It might be also like Santos.
Well, it depends, because the issue isn't the international break. The issue is Tuchel said, I'm not releasing players early. So even if the Brazilian players, they can get released early. Tuchel literally said, I'm not releasing players early. That's the issue, is the fact that he's called these players up and then said, I'm not releasing them early. And it's the same with, we are the most affected, but it's the same with City. They're obviously going to be missing... I don't know if Rico Lewis got called up. They're missing 1 or 2, I think. I can't remember who it is, though. But yeah, it's the same with other clubs. Liverpool are the same.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I just think, the guys who are going to sign, we already know. I said this before, we're probably going to sign Delap and another striker, in my personal opinion. I think Jackson's time at the club is up. So
I'll be honest. I've done a 180, but this whole Delap thing or this whole striker thing, Delap for me now is number 1 of who I'd sign based on who we've looked at, which is
we need to sign him. I said
Let's-
I
No, but
agree.
you know, Ahmed,
get
you
what
know
we
my
said.
thoughts, by the way. We've spoken about this on Casually. You know my thoughts on Delap. That's how
Yes.
bad our striker targets are that I've now said
Let's
Delap.
get
Of
a
all the
win.
ones we've
Let's
linked,
get-
we need to
I
sign.
can't lie to you. 30 million. It doesn't matter how you're only paying
Yeah,
30
30 million
for
for
him.
him or 100 for the other two.
Listen,
let's
30
get,
million is
what
a
do you call
great.
it?
Listen, I've always maintained 30 million is a great punt on any player, particularly a guy that's already scored 12 goals and 2 assists in his first season, which is essentially Jackson numbers if we've been in his first season too. So I'm not losing that much of him. I'll be honest, if I bring him in and I lose Jackson, I've not really lost that much of him. I get a bit more of an aerial threat of him too because of what he can do. Now, I've said it before, you know this, Scott. I think Jackson's time at the club is finished. I actually think they're gonna bring in Etikite and Jackson to the club. That's my. I actually think they're gonna bring in.
Yeah,
Let's
two
what do you
strikers.
call it? Let's get into the whole transfer news. This guy, there's 260 people locked in. Make sure we all like, subscribing, man. Show some love to the channel, people. Show some love to the channel. Ahmed's link is in the description as well. Go and show him some love. We need to get the likes up ASAP. The likes are a joke. We need to get the likes up ASAP. Smash the likes up, people. But speaking about Delap, Ekitike, listen, Chelsea have finally got Champions League football in almost. It's been 2 years. It would have next season would have been the third season, and it's time to get serious players. It's time to get Osherman, Leao, or Rodrigo, a serious centre back, serious strikers, yeah, and serious players, not Delap. Unless you just want to get him because he's only 30 million, okay, whatever, and get rid of Jackson because that guy is his attitude stinks and he's a baby and he's not as good as people made out. Okay, he can sit on the bench, whatever. But I would rather get rid of Jackson, bring in Delap as a 30 million, and then get another striker. But I don't think that's happening because at the end of the day, Delap ain't gonna come and just sit on the bench. He wants guaranteed game time. So do I want him to come in and be our number one striker? Absolutely not. So
But I would argue he'd probably be our number one striker in the way we play, wouldn't he not?
Any of the ones we get is excuse me. Any of the strikers that we get are going to be our number one, unless we do, because I know obviously Pice on his burner, not burner, what the second account he's got mentioned about apparently he's heard that we're looking at getting Ekitike and Delap. There's also been a report from Fabrizio as well. Pice.
Ekitike and Delap.
Yes.
Which, I'm not surprised, and I think I agree with the Jackson point because according to Fabrizio, we're also looking at doing a pre-contract agreement for Omega at Strasbourg for him to come in.
Which I knew was
By the way, I need. This is I'm going on a little tangent, and I apologize, but I need to again go have a conversation about the planning at this football club. So you're telling me in 2026 we're going to have 3 fucking strikers, all of which are the same. No, but Ahmed, we're going to have. Okay, cool. If you want to flip him, just sell him now. You can make 40 million off the season.
But you need to realize that's Strasbourg. That's going to be on Strasbourg's book. They don't want to do that on Strasbourg.
It's all fucking blue code. It's all fucking blue code.
No. But the problem is, they're trying to do it for the Premier League PSR. That's the problem, bro. That's the reason why.
Okay. No, Ahmed, cool. Why don't you do that this season then? Just flip him. That you can sell him for 40 million now. Do it this season. What's all this like? Anyway,
but he's not at Chelsea right now. So do that.
No, I'm saying, do this deal. Get Omega now and just flip him this summer.
I don't think isn't that the issue that we had with Isugo though when we tried to buy Isugo, right? We couldn't do that with Isugo because Isugo was playing at 2 clubs and we tried to buy him.
No, they have to play games.
Fair enough then.
That's why we couldn't get Isugo is because he'd already played games for Sporting Lisbon and Las Palmas. What I'm saying is you buy him and immediately sell him.
I just don't know which club buys him right now.
That's been done before by someone. That's been done before by other clubs. They'll buy a player that's been on loan there. They'll buy him and then immediately flip him. So I'm saying
that should have been done in January. Then I'll be honest.
Potentially, but we're either doing that or we're just having 3 strikers at the club, all of which are in the same age bracket. Fantastic planning. Anyway, that was a side thing. My thing with the striker thing is I agree. I think two probably come in with what we've heard and Jackson goes, but bro, it's just the striker targets are terrible. I'll say that much off the rip. They are terrible because they don't really represent a massive increase or a massive upgrade on what we already have. Whether you want to look at it from a profile's a bit different, but whether you want to look at it from a numbers perspective, whether you want to look from a ability perspective, whatever you want to look at it, just not massive upgrades. That being said, of the three we're looking at, if I had to choose one, like I said, Delap's the best one because he's the cheapest, but also provides you with the profile we need. And also in terms of if you look at certain things, because I didn't realize his XG, and I know people hate that, but like using that to look at how well he finishes his chances, his XG is literally like he's technically speaking overperforming his XG ever so slightly. Like he's got 12 goals off of like I think it's like 11.3 XG. So that tells me when he gets chances, he finishes them. He just doesn't get a lot of chances or get a lot of clear chances. Ekitike, holy Jesus, he has the worst underperformance of his XG of any striker in the world or in Europe. I think he's underperforming it by 7. You're telling me we're about to go and get an Ekitike, by the way. So if people don't know or don't follow, I'd recommend following Euro expert Alex, who he does a bunch of like myth busting stuff for transfers, like scouting reports. I went and looked at his for Ekitike, and bro, it's just red flags. It's just red flags. This guy is shit in the air. This guy's based on. I haven't seen anything, so I went and looked and had a little look. Terrible in the air. Is weak. So he said the one thing he does is when he goes to challenge aerially, he jumps at the very last minute, so he doesn't have to challenge aerially with physical centre backs. His ability against low blocks is terrible in terms of he doesn't have space to run into, and he's inconsistent as all hell in front of goal. Like especially he cannot finish across the goal with his strong foot, by the way. So he just tries to hit it with power and just puts it in the air. Like, bro, it's just red flags. For 84 million, no thank you. No.
Yeah, I think listen, I think Delap's an easy buy. I think he's logical. He makes sense. He solves an issue at the club. I think obviously the level he's at probably isn't what you want him to be, but I think the reality is in terms of the profile you're looking for and the price range, I just think he's a no-brainer. At least Delap in my eyes. I think of Ekitike, from what I've heard, it just feels like to me he's just a much more better. He's like a better version of Jackson. That's what it just sounds like to me. If that makes sense. And so, if that's the case, it's like okay, but then is he worth you paying 84 M's if he's just a better version of Jackson? Unless you believe that ceiling that he has is a lot higher than what probably Jackson can give you in his final form. That's just the question I would ask them, innit? Because for me, logically, I'm not seeing it, if that makes sense. Like, I would just much rather, and I hate this player, by the way, and I would not want him at the club, but I would still see the logic of bringing a Jonathan David. Yeah, if you're going to replace, if you let Jackson go and bring in Jonathan David, I actually think there's some level of logic. But I don't want him here, by the way, yeah? I don't want that guy here. I'm just making that very clear. Right? I hate him. I don't.
By the way,
I hate him.
Just on the Ekitike and the Jackson like comparison, right? To me, based on what I read, Ekitike is a slightly better version of Jackson in terms of he's got better dribbling and he's got less physicality. Fantastic. So what you're telling me is he's going to struggle with centre backs in the Premier League even worse than Jackson did in terms of physically, which we saw like Jackson could on his day, but off his day was getting bullied at times. Fantastic. Also, in terms of finishing, because I keep people saying, oh, he's a better finisher. Conversion, I'm going to look at Jackson at his best because I'm expecting Ekitike at his best. I'm going to look at Jackson last season of what I was getting last season when he was at his best, when he got 14 goals. His conversion rate last season was better. He underperformed his XG and better. So you're telling me he missed less chances. So why am I getting rid? I'm getting in someone who isn't better than Jackson at his best in terms of clinicality, which is what I'm looking for in a striker. Why?
I think I don't know, man. I just hope Chelsea do it. I don't want any of those players. I want to go in Osimhen or Gyökeres. If it's not that any of them two, then I don't see what's the point.
Listen again. I think Gyökeres. I think Scott's had my take before. There's a lot of red flags there, man. There's a lot of red flags there. A lot of red flags.
Gyökeres for me. No, his numbers. I don't care. Like
I don't listen. There's a lot of red flags.
No one is putting those numbers up. No one is putting those numbers up that he's put up.
You know how much? Do you know how much Samu got this season? By the way, I want you just to double check.
He didn't get Gyökeres numbers.
No, he didn't need to get Gyökeres numbers. But this is his first season in that league.
I don't care. Ahmed, how many goals did he get? Do you know how many? Yeah, how many goals did Samu get? Do you know? Do either of you two know how many goals Gyökeres has had in all comps since he's been at Sporting.
60 something. Well, oh no.
In all comps since he's been at Sporting over the last 2 years.
I have no idea.
97 in 102 appearances.
Oh.
No one in world football is putting up those numbers. No one. And I understand the league. No one is putting up those numbers. Even if he gets, someone worked it out, by the way, on Lewis's stream. He could get 35% of those goals. So basically a third. He'd still be on 19 goals for the season.
Yeah,
that's stupid. That's just dumb.
Yeah, it's Gyökeres, Osimhen. I don't mind any of them. If we get Gyökeres, cool. If we get Osimhen or whatever, Gyökeres, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't really make a difference. For me, it's we'll get one of them, none of the rest. But in terms of left wingers, there's not been a lot of links to left wing really recently. I think Rodrigo up there, Leao. Apart from that, because we actually do need the left winger. We actually do. Even if we were to keep Sancho, I still think we need the left winger because I think Sancho is better off on the right anyway. And in terms of left wing, Mudryk is not alive. Well, we've seen him in the days somewhere. Really, who else have we got on the left wing? Realistically, no one. So we need the left wing.
I'm not gonna mention what I believe. I'm not gonna mention what I believe is probably gonna happen, but
go on.
Keep it.
Go on.
Yeah,
1 second. Osimhen is never happening, by the way. When this fan base finally accepts this, we can move on.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's never happening, bro. That's like we need to move on. Put down the weed, man. That's all I say, man. Just keep it pushing. I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. Listen, my theory, about the left wing, has always been, listen, there's a certain, what's it called, super agent that's linked to our club, man, that wants a player out of AC Milan. So I could see that. That's the only one I could maybe of a sniff could see happening. But
I'll be honest. If I know who you're going to say, and I would take him. Like I know there's issues, and I know people have their problems with him. And I think
personally,
I hear it.
He's had a bad 2 seasons.
I know he had a bad 2 seasons. My thing is,
what are we talking about, by the way?
Leao.
Oh,
my thing is there's a couple of things with this, Ahmed, because I understand. Number one, I think he brings something to this team that we lack on the wide areas. And that's consistently being able to beat their man on the dribble and being able to occupy more than one player successfully and having the physicality, like all kind of wrapped into one, having the physicality to beat them. The second thing is I know there's the issue defensively. I know there's that problem, but with having what's it called? With having the issues with having Cucurella there, like at least he can get there. The second thing for me is I know this guy can do it at the top level in terms of he won a league title. I know for a fact he can do it at that level, which is more than I could say for the likes of Gittins, Nico Williams, and things like that. And I can come around to the idea of Leao being that left winger, because at least he's shown a level previously, which I don't think others have, that we've been linked with. I mean. And
there's Yildiz as well. That's the other one I think. And listen,
he's not a winger. Actually,
he's not a winger. Firstly, that's what I wanted to put out there. I don't think he's gonna. I actually think that's a guy that the club might sign because they're getting too greedy, and you know what this club is sadly like. If you know what I mean, he might be like another 10 that the club has signed for some reason. Like I could actually see him being that like a 10 and like a left wing backup in case the club want him to be that. But I think Leao probably might happen. The getting stuff has gone really quiet, by the way. Again, that shit has gone very quiet. So, and I think that can only be a positive, touch wood. So,
the other thing I was going to say about the Leao thing is one thing that I think might be a factor is I think maybe it's just that he needs a change of scenery because that Milan team is a mess. That Milan team is a mess, bro. Like the whole thing is a mess. So I think there is a part of it where, like, I wonder what would happen if he does go to another team where he like it's just a different scenario. Like the whole situation is different. It's a different environment.
He gets out of his comfort zone, bro.
I do agree, by the way, of what Andrew said. Like for me, if we're talking wingers, don't get Mbeumo, man, and Wisa, both. Pay him 100 mil and say we'll take both of them, or 80.
Are they
and
both
we take
wingers or one of them a striker?
No, they can both play on the wing. Both of them started their career like Mbuemo. So Mbuemo, when he came, like originally, when they came to the Premier League, was a winger. He went to a striker when they basically moved to a 5 at the back system because they didn't have wingers. So him and Tony went up front. He's only really become like the main. He's only really become a striker, like the main striker this season because Tony's left. Before that, he was either a second striker or a winger.
Yeah.
So like I'd play Mbuemo. He can play both sides as well, left and right. I bring Wieser in as well. Again, another one who primarily a winger, but then got moved up front. I bring both of them in. If it means you have to sacrifice someone like a Madueke, cool. Then you move Neto and you have Neto as the backup on the left. You have Esteval as the backup on the right. Problem solved.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, big up to Mbama. I would love to bring him to the club. Problem is he's bold. You know what I mean? We need to double check obviously his age range as well. Firstly,
he's got a better hairline than you.
It's wow, fair enough. You know what I mean? But let's need to fix his age, a lot of stuff, and see how that works, man. But listen, I would love to bring him in. Witter, I'm sorry to tell you guys, man. Big up to Witter, man. He's my African brother, but he's 29. He's never happening, sadly. You know what I mean? Let's quickly, Scott, before you go, just to answer CFC in this question, the moment Conte comes into that club, he's available to sell. He's not a Conte player. It's over for that brother, bro. No, he's not a Conte player, bro.
Wait, is he linked with Juve?
Yeah.
Is Conte linked with going back to Juve?
Yes, you didn't know this? He's linked to going back to Juve. I don't believe, bro. So that's what I'm saying. He ain't a Conte player. So the moment Conte comes there, love and guidance, bro. Love and guidance. He's gone. That's like Kvaratskhelia, bro. He's gone.
I understand, bro. That club. That club needs God, bro. That club needs a divine miracle. That fucking hell.
Wow,
bro. Anyway, guys, big up to all of you locked in, man. Still over 230 of you guys in here. Make sure we're getting the likes up. Before we do wrap up, let's name our number one, our personal. Forget what the club might do. Who your dream target is for striker and left wing? Go on, Scott. Your dream striker and left wing in this summer. Who would it be?
Osimhen and Rodrigo.
Ahmad?
I think the fact could be Osimhen. In terms of left winger, if it was my dream, you know what I mean?
Actually,
left winger.
Let me rephrase that. Sorry. Osimhen and Mbuemo. Changed my mind.
Yeah, if that was my dream left winger, I would have to say this guy because got a soft spot for this guy. It would have to be it's gonna have to be Barcola. I think Barcola would be very good for the team, honestly.
I didn't know he was gonna say that.
Yeah, man. It has to be him and Barcola. And Barcola, again, he's another guy I look at. Very feasible to make happen if the club is serious. That's all I'm gonna say. And I genuinely think he would actually help us a lot more. In my personal
I don't know how realistic that is.
Because again, listen, Rodrigo is definitely not realistic, but Barcola is very realistic.
You think Barcola is more realistic than Rodrigo?
Yes, he probably is. Yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah, he is.
He is, bro.
Yeah, Barcola's more realistic than Rodrigo because I think. Why do you think that was Nigerian, Sinek, by the way, out of interest?
Sinek is definitely.
I think Barcola's more. It has to be. I think Barcola is more available than Rodrigo for a few reasons. Number one is Barcola's further down the pecking order than Rodrigo is. I think number two is he's cheaper. I think number three, there's more of a chance of he'd be happy to leave rather than like Rodrigo is never leaving that club unless he gets forced out. Yeah, he's not leaving that club of his own volition.
Yeah,
he spent 3 years being the number two. Now he's number three, and he still doesn't care. Like he's never leaving that club unless he's told you need to leave.
Yeah, I mean, my one would be Unoni. Sorry, mate. So we got our right wingers of Neto, Sancho, Esteval. Left wing, relax. Left wing,
Terrorist
Left
at my
wing,
club.
but you know what? Do we low key need like 2 left wingers, bro? I don't. No, anyway, we got.
No, we need.
We do
two
probably
wingers,
need. We do need
We
probably
need
2
two
left
wingers
wingers, by
for
the way.
each side. We don't. What we don't need is 5 wingers. We don't need 3 right wingers.
Yeah, we got. I would say. So we got our main left winger would be Liao, and then you still got Sancho who can still play there. And then in terms of striker, I think I would be just as happy of getting Osherman and Gyökeres, and I can't split them. I honestly can't split them. I don't know who I would be much happier with. But if we end up getting Rodrigo or Liao or even an Osherman or Gyökeres, then that's serious, bro. That's absolutely serious.
I was gonna say, I do think that, like I said this before, if we were to get Osimhen or Gyökeres, I almost don't care about anything else. Like, you could get me Osimhen and then Gittins, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, because we got Osimhen. And like same with centre back. Like, you could almost go and get me a Branthwaite, and I'll be like, okay, cool, we got Osimhen. What I'm not going to be okay with is you go it like I saw someone like put a window out there of like, say we got, I think it was Delap, Hato. Who the fuck was the winger? Was it Williams or someone else? I think it was like it was 4 players, and I can't remember who the fuck all 4 players. It was Hato. Yeah, I can't remember all 4 players, but I know Hato and
Probably Nico Williams. I think
it might have been Williams. It was like a 3 out of 10 window. I'm not going to be okay if we go and get like Ekitike for 84 million, Gittins or someone like that, or Garnacho, God forbid, and then like a Hato. That's not a successful window.
Yeah, we need a serious guys. Listen, it's embarrassing. Over 200 people are still in here, man. Let's get to 100 likes ASAP. It's a big window. It's a massive window, and I hope the links do end up changing after the Conference League and going into next week. Yeah, man, they're going to next week. We're going in back for Osherman, maybe Rodrigo, Liao, maybe Gyökeres, whatever. It's serious plays. And listen, if we end up getting one of the strikers, centre back. Listen, for Fana, let's just hope he stays fit, bro. Let's just say that, man. If we not end up getting a centre back. But apart from that, listen, it's been a crazy stream, bro. Big up to Ahmad. Listen, guys, his link is in the description. Show him some love. Big up to Scott for joining as well. So it's been a hectic one. Over an hour and 20 minutes, man. Big up to all of you who locked in. We're gonna raid MHF. They got a show cooking up. So spam their chat, man, with Ziad Raid. Go over there and show them some love as well, man. Listen, Chelsea, big stuff. Win tomorrow, but obviously, if we don't win tomorrow, we will Enzo Maresca out.
No, it's embarrassing, but I'm not Maresca.
I tried, bro. I tried. Maybe not, man. And we need to see what happens. But listen, big up to all of you, man. Make sure you go over to MHF, show them some love, spam Ziad Raid in the chat, and we're out, man. We're back very soon.